Look, this channel is all about freedom of speech, of thought, of finances, and the ability to act on our dreams. I want to speak briefly about breaking free of the matrix-like rat race that the West generally is. Most Westerners go to work to support their not even lavish, but rather their expensive lifestyles. If you live in any major Western city, you're likely paying a ton in rent. Going out to eat and enjoying oneself in such a manner generally costs an arm and a leg, especially with all the regulations, insurance, salaries that the restaurateur has to pay for. If you live in the United States, you're also paying a ton in health insurance. Most people are working just to live. Work, eat, watch TV, grow older, repeat. But you always give yourself something to look forward to. Some carrot at the end of that stick that you're turning that hamster wheel for. You tell yourself, I'm going on that 2-week vacation and I'm going to go somewhere amazing, somewhere where I'm going to have the time of my life. And you do. You buy that plane ticket probably to coincide with a holiday when tickets are most expensive, but you get an extra vacation day that way. And you go to Hawaii or some other resort area and you have fun and you come back and you get right back on the hamster wheel so that you can do it again next year. I'm sure that you know people that live in constant material competition with one another. Who can get the promotion, the most desirable mate, the slightly bigger house, the fancy car? Let me blow up that paradigm for you. What if I told you, forget your 2-week vacation? Make it 1 year long. Maybe even move to the tropical paradise that you can easily go to and afford. And live a better, healthier, less stressed life. You can leave the rat race behind and go experience something new that will cause you to grow. Anybody that you talk to will tell you the benefits of travel. It forces you out of your comfort zone. You get new experiences. You gain a new appreciation of other people, of other ways of viewing the world. It absolutely does this if you go somewhere, so long as you don't go to some all-inclusive resort and spend a week straight drinking yourself into oblivion. So how am I equipped to discuss this with you? Do I have any bona fides? My story, briefly, when I was in my 20s, I saved every dime that I made. Then I started to travel. Since then, I've been to 60 countries on every continent on the world, save Antarctica. And I've lived in the Czech Republic as well as Thailand. And I'm here to tell you, you do not need to live the Western paradigm. So let's say you make $60,000 a year. That's a pretty decent living by all accounts. Definitely nothing to sneeze at. However, if you live in a major Western city, you're just getting by with that amount. Now, what if I told you you don't have to make a dime more than you do right now? This is not a marketing program. But I am going to triple your buying power to where you can purchase the same amount as if you were earning $180,000 a year. Warren Buffett defines investing as consuming less today so you can consume more in the future. That's kind of what we're doing right here, but instead of waiting a decade for your money to triple in the stock market, we're going to do that almost instantaneously. How? Basically, it's a form of financial arbitrage. You earn that 60K in the USA, in Canada, in Europe, and then you go and you spend the money where you have the same buying power as earning several multiples of your salary in the West. The US dollar is still the world's reserve currency and has tremendous purchasing power overseas. Whether or not that maintains itself is another question given how much money we're printing as well as borrowing during this pandemic, but that's a story for another day. We're focusing on your purchasing power and what you can do with it. So, is it conceivable that when you make $5,000 a month that you could save $2,000 per month after taxes? Is it doable? I think so. Sure, you're going to have to cut back on luxuries like going out to eat or Starbucks, some other things, but you bank it. 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 And after 1 year, you have $24,000 cash saved. What do you do next? You get the hell out of Dodge. You take advantage of the fact that that money will buy you far more abroad. Why is this opportunity available? Frankly, because you were lucky enough to have been born in a wealthy country where the rest of the world was not. It's not white privilege, it's American privilege. You have the power of the world's reserve currency. You have the wealth creation of companies like General Motors, Ford, Google, Microsoft, Amazon. What is a middle-class salary in America allows you to live like a king elsewhere. So you save your money and arbitrage and go where it spends like you made way, way, way more. One thing to note, however, is that these areas are slowly becoming more expensive. With globalization and reduced barriers, businesses are able to export not only jobs, but investment overseas and raise the standard of living for people that once lived in abject poverty. And slowly they're growing in wealth and attaining middle class status. I think that that's a very good thing. However, given the fact that you still have the opportunity to arbitrage the fact that you were lucky enough to have the privilege of having been born in the West, where your money will spend far better elsewhere, it's my opinion that you should absolutely take advantage of it while you can. The levels of wealth around the world, however, are equalizing more quickly than ever, and in maybe 10 years, this opportunity won't exist to the extent that it does right now. So where do I recommend that you go? Well, of course, that depends on your individual interests. The best bets that I would recommend, Latin America, Southeast Asia, or if you're into it, maybe a former Eastern Bloc country. You can certainly live pretty decently in any of these locations for $1,000 a month. When you hit $2,000 a month of spending, you're living very, very comfortably. My personal recommendation would be Southeast Asia. I've lived in Thailand for 3 years of my life, with my latest stint where I currently am lasting 15 months so far. And it's safer than Latin America, and the people and weather are far warmer than any place within the Eastern Bloc, which still suffers from the hangover of communism. So what exactly will these savings get me? I have a friend, Nick, who founded a very successful business, the Ave, in Los Angeles, and has now decided to take up the expat lifestyle. And he currently lives in Acapulco, Mexico. I think that he credits me partly with inspiring his desire to travel and see the rest of the world. I'm very honored. Today, he lives on the beach in Acapulco, Mexico, with a spacious 2-bedroom, 3-bath apartment that has a movie theater, sauna, steam, a massage room, 24/7 security, and underground parking, all for $840 a month in rent. The food there is organic, and as he describes it, bomb. And all in for the month, he's in for $1,200. What do you, serious question, what do you think that would cost in America if you're overlooking the ocean from a 20th floor, eating organic food, and you get all that? And the beach, unless you live in Florida, isn't going to be nearly as nice. I would have to say at minimum, $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And yet he's all in for $1,200. That is what is called arbitrage. You're getting the same thing for far less. I've spent some time in Vietnam. You can live there even more cheaply than what I just described in Mexico. Although I would prefer Thailand, which is where I spent the majority of my time. I think that the people are friendlier in Thailand generally. It's a little bit more costly, but you can purchase a meal easily in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is in northern Thailand, for $1 for some cow soy, and at $5 you're eating a pretty decent meal. That doesn't mean that you can't spend way more if you want to. You can. I'm just talking about what you can get nutritious and tasty food for if you put a little bit of effort into saving some money. I've also lived in southern Thailand where the beaches are probably about the most gorgeous in the world. It's really hard to beat some of them. And if you live in the more touristy areas, the prices are going to go up, but you can definitely find stretches of ocean that are just fantastic where the prices are going to be about the same. And you have delectable Thai food, massage, very friendly people. It's definitely something to experience and try. You can also go and live in the coffee region of Colombia, which I found absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And it's high enough that you don't have mosquitoes. Incredible coffee, fresh organic food. Or you can go and live in Pablo Escobar's old haunt of Medellin, where you have some of the best weather in the world. It's often referred to as the city of eternal spring. And the prices are pretty low. These are the arbitrage opportunities that one has being an American or European. So some additional savings. As for healthcare, if you're going to be abroad for a year, you get to dump your expensive US health insurance. The reason that you can do this is if something happens and you pay out of pocket, you're going to be paying far, 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 far less than you would in America. You can easily cover it. Just to give you an example, my baby daughter was born in northern Thailand at the end of last year, December 30th. We were in surgery on New Year's Eve, praying for her survival. She spent 3 weeks after that in the NICU getting round-the-clock care, round the clock. Fantastic, wonderful nurses. And the total bill for the surgery and for the 3 weeks in NICU, which I imagine in the United States would have been possibly six figures, $100,000 plus dollars. It was less than $7,000 US in total. And I spoke to the pediatrician who helped not only save her life, for whom I'm eternally grateful, but also helped to set that whole ward up. 30 years ago, when he began, they did not have any of the medical equipment. They didn't have the know-how. It wasn't sanitary, and babies would basically go there to die. So if she had been born in that area of the country years earlier, she would have likely perished. The same is true for Thai babies that were born then, but not true now. This is an example of the benefits of technology, sharing of it, and the rising tide of humanity, and it makes me incredibly hopeful. So if you're spending a year abroad as an American, you get to dump your insurance and you save money there. Not to mention, if you make money overseas, you're not paying any state taxes on that money because you're not living in that state. So this is the fantastic arbitrage opportunity that is available for you. You get to take that $24,000 that you saved and spend it where it spends at triple what you would get when you lived in the West, if you play your cards right, maybe even more. And you leave the consumer culture behind. You leave behind the Western rat race. And even if you come back at the appointed time and you don't find a job in this distant land, for example, teaching English, you still got to experience all sorts of new, wonderful things. Discover a new culture. See places that you've never imagined. The great beauty of the world. And you take this growth that will transport itself, that will benefit you when you go back to Western culture. But you didn't take a 2-week vacation. No. You got a year vacation out of it. Maybe you save up that $24,000 and do it again. Peace and blessings to everybody out there. If you think that this is valuable, by all means share it with people, because that's how we grow the channel. And if you have a thought, a comment, please leave it below and feel free to subscribe. Again, this channel is about freedom. Recharge freedom. Peace and blessings to everybody.